Welcome to the Sigma Show, episode 42. I'm your host, Sigma. Before I let you know who's joining me today, let's go over what we'll be talking about. First up, Scarlett Johansson. Remember her? That lawsuit she sent over at Disney? They've resolved that. It's no longer a thing. We'll talk about what that could mean and why. Afterwards, Sony has finally officially stated that they have acquired Bluepoint Games, their kind of remake go-to studio. So we'll, I guess, think about what that could mean for Sony going forward, even though we kind of knew this was going to happen eventually anyway. And finally, Konami, that once game studio, is trying their hand at it again. They're going to be trying to bring back, or the rumors are saying they're going to be trying to bring back Metal Gear, Castlevania, and Silent Hill. And also, there's some evidence of Konami dipping their toe back into games that has not gone so well. And we'll see, I guess, how that factors into this larger conversation. But to talk to me about these things, Blue Bones.
What's going on, everybody?
Rachel Kaiser.
Hi, everyone.
Jesse Galena.
Good morning, or whatever time it is where you are, folks.
And the Will C. Blogs.
I'm surprised I was in Chester this time. Interesting.
The Will Cecilia Blonde?
Cecilia, I'll take it. That's a little more Hispanic. I'll enjoy that. Hi, everyone. I'm eating a bagel because I'm a New Yorker.
A New Yorker who's
You got to say that with
Kentucky
a New Yorker
right
accent.
Hey, whoa, I'm eating a bagel over here. What are you talking about?
Is it bagel? Like, I don't know the New York accent for bagel.
They say bagel. Bagel.
Bagel.
That's how.
Like put my bagel in a bag bowl?
You're really making this a hard stream already. This is gonna hurt.
We'll actually start things off with some more updates on the Activision Blizzard suit because some new developments have happened of the numerous lawsuits that were filed at them. One from the Equal Opportunity Employment Commission. Is that what the C stands for in that corporation?
Believe so.
Yeah.
Yes,
The Equal Opportunity
you are correct.
folks did file a lawsuit as well. I think they were one of the more recent ones, and they actually settled rather quickly for $18 million. So there was some criticism of this settlement because Activision is like $1 billion studio. Their CEO alone makes like upwards of 4 to 5 times the amount that they settled for, like in just a year. So it's kind of like it's chump change for Activision Blizzard. So to me, and I guess I'll start things off by putting this out there. That sounds kind of like a condemnation of the Equal Opportunity Commission. Like if they sent a suit out and basically settled for such a tiny amount of money, it seems like that's kind of what they were going for from the beginning and not really trying to attack them or criticize them for any of the actual issues that they, had committed. But then again, it's an organization that is supposed to help equalize opportunities in employment and whatnot. So maybe they just really needed the money. I don't know. Like, what do you guys think about that situation?
Well, I'm not a fan of the fact that this settlement is supposed to be a fund that go towards people who claim damages, because that puts the onus on the people who have been traumatized by this to come forward and claim their damages. That sounds like that feels like the biggest cop out to me rather than the monetary amount. They've said, oh, anything that's left over is going to go towards charities supporting women in technology. I'm like, yeah, that's cute, Bobby. Thank you.
Yeah, you know what? That's the same thing I peeped too. The fact that they have to step up and claim this, and granted, they're so crafty with it that they've already portioned out. It feels like they've already portioned out like how much each person's going to get, no matter how many people claim, because they said the remainder of the money that's not claimed is going to go to all these nonprofit funds that pretty much cover all the bases that they were offending, right? And so it really feels it's disrespectful, I think, that they're saying, hey, come out and be a victim and take this little bit of money that I really don't even care about.
Right. Yeah. They're trying to pay off the offenders, and I guess on paper that looks a certain way. Like if you came out with a complaint and then you take a monetary settlement, it sort of looks like, well, your issue has been resolved. You no longer have beef with us anymore, right?
Right.
Like they can point to that and say, like, we did right by them because we gave them money.
And it's like I was doing some math, and not crazy math, but I was like, look, if let's say 500 people were offended and claimed that money, that's only like $36,000, which is not nearly enough to even think about repairing the trauma that they've gone through, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure in the entirety of Activision Blizzard, they probably have more female employees than that.
Yeah.
Probably. And also, like,
And-
it's not just. I mean, you can't equate it to just money. Like, they want to give money, and well, they don't want to, but they're going to give some money. But like, there's so much more to it than that. On kind of what you were saying on like the emotional toll, and also the career toll. Like, the time that they spent there means that they didn't have opportunities. They didn't have the chance to go and have opportunities elsewhere. So that has stunted their career in that way. And it's not helping them there with, throwing them some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It also
Yeah.
kind of ignores kind of the inherent problem, right? Like they're hoping, well, the employees rather are hoping to solve this issue going forward so that they have a much more comfortable place to work. If their idea about resolving this is to pay off whoever they hurt, that speaks nothing to solving what hurt these people in the first place, right? And I think that like more needs to be done to get that across, or to let Activision needs to do more to let us know that they understand that there's something in the company that needs to actually change, and not just, oh, this guy fell down in the workplace, so let me pay him for him being hurt that one time. Like that's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah.
I think based on what they say in the settlement, that I think what happened, because they say what they're doing is that in addition to having the fund, it says the company agrees to cease any discriminatory practices, which, you really needed a carrot to cease discriminatory practices, retain a consultant to ensure compliance, upgrade its training and performance review processes, and submit to future audits. I have a feeling the reason they submitted to a relatively low amount, they settled for a relatively low amount of money from Activision, is so that they could have all of these, they could make Activision Blizzard make all these other promises. They're like, okay, we're not going to force you to pay a lot of money, but, if you don't pay a lot of money, then you have to fix your other problems. But I mean, not that I have any reason to suspect it's going to make a long-term difference, but I can see that being the reason why, for what seems like a relatively easy case, they didn't get a lot of money out of it.
Right. But I mean, and they're only like one part of the case against them, I guess. Like,
oh yeah,
they're
just one
representing
lawsuit.
right. Yeah, they're representing just the fact that it wasn't a level playing field. Like they weren't kind of giving all different kinds of people equal chances to advance in a company, which was a big part of the larger issue. This doesn't kind of speak to any of the sexual assault stuff, right? Like this is a separate instance. So taken from that lens, then sure, maybe that amount is suitable for that level of transgression. I don't know. But I mean, you slap a number on a thing and then all of a sudden you kind of put it in a certain light. And I feel like 18 million is just not enough any way you cut it. Like it just doesn't seem like enough in terms
It's
of like
taxes
what the
on what
company
they
does.
should pay out.
Yeah. That's how I feel. Ooh, I'm sorry, it's not my desk. But I mean, anything else on this before we move on to our proper topics?
I think I can hear some like devil's advocate talk, which I don't like, of like, well, it's not the only thing they're doing. And like with all the different lawsuits that are hitting them in the different ways, the people they've fired and all of that. And yes, but I feel like this also speaks to the problem of, okay, it still seems like they are attempting to throw money at it and not make the actual changes that both the industry and the employees want. And that
Not even
would
much
make
money.
it better. Say what?
And not even much money at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Sure.
feels insulting to me. But
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I want to be able to hope that these, all these like, yes, we'll submit to future audits and we'll change our practices and all that. I want to believe that that will lead to some change, but the only way we're ever going to know that, we're not going to know that immediately. The only way we're going to know that is if further down the line, a news story fails to pop up in like 3 to 5 years saying, hey, Activision Blizzard still has a problem with sexual harassment and workplace inequality.
Mhm.
So
Then
and
we need to audit the EOC and be like, what are you guys doing? How much did you take under the table to make this
exactly.
go away?
Yeah, interesting story. We'll keep following up as new stuff comes out. You guys are talking about the chat not updating in the stream. There's a reason
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah,
We
and
cannot
I
log into
figured
Restream. Like
And
I don't know if anyone else uses Restream as a service, but it's not working right now. So
Oh.
that chat is from Restream. Like it says it right on top, Restream IO. It's not working. So sorry about that. You won't see it in the actual video, but it's still working on Twitch along the side, so you can follow along
Yeah.
that way, and we can still see it and stuff as well. So we'll be addressing the stuff you guys are talking about. So sorry about that. But we'll move on to our first actual topic. Scarlett Johansson recently, or not recently, but some time ago, she filed a lawsuit against Disney because her movie Black Widow was put on Disney Plus streaming service via Premier Access the same time it was in theaters. And she felt that was a breach of contract. She sued Disney because Disney was not trying to pay her for whatever bonuses she was supposed to get based on the back end of like theater releases, etc. Before that actually went to trial, recently they have actually now settled. I want to say GameSpot said it was somewhere around 40 million that she got paid in this settlement. So a little less than what I think the number was being thrown around. 50 million was what she was potentially owed based on like box office royalties or something, based on like if it crossed a certain milestone. But apparently both parties seem to be happy with this resolution. It seems like ScarJo is going to be starring in some other Disney movie in the near future. I think the Tower of Terror, I think she's
Yeah.
going to be in it.
Why?
Why? But this was a big deal in that Disney was kind of trying to have its cake and eat it too by not paying their stars box office points, but then getting all the money from subscription stuff. This seems to have dodged going down that rabbit hole and having that conversation, which I'm assuming is something Disney doesn't want to do. Like, what do you guys take on this? Do you think that this will be the last we see of these kind of shenanigans from Disney or any other star who is maybe trying to go after streaming royalties now, or will they kind of still push for the box office thing?
I mean, I would hope that Disney is not going to do it to any of their big stars. Their smaller stars are another story. Because I think that was the big mistake going after just doing this to Scarlett Johansson, who
Right.
already has her own dedicated fan base and is a very high profile figure even outside of playing Black Widow. So she can come back around and say, hey, Disney, stop that. And everybody will sit up and take notice. But if, it's like 2010 and I don't know, it's like, let's say this Disney Plus existed in 2010 and Chris Hemsworth put that, it's like, well, nobody knows who Chris Hemsworth is. So I don't think Disney would have even dignified that with a response.
Probably
Yeah,
not.
and he probably wouldn't have been able to even command the kind of deal Scarlett Johansson had at that point anyway, right?
Mm-hmm. But then again, her star power, I think, is kind of what made it so valuable to them, such a valuable property to them in the first place. So that's fair to her.
There was I won't say it was a similar thing, but like that rock movie that came out recently, Jungle Cruise, that
Yeah.
also did the Premier Access thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But apparently he had a different deal. I don't know what the deal was, but
Oh, I know
I'm assuming
they've been modifying it.
yeah, they must have, right? Because like
Yeah.
he didn't have a similar issue. Like he seemed to have gotten his money and been perfectly fine. Because, or I don't know, like maybe they knew. I think that's also part of the problem, right? Like Black Widow was made way before the pandemic. I want to say, like
I
it was
think
supposed to
the
be out in theaters, and they were just holding on to it,
timing was the problem.
right? Because like the deals and stuff were drafted long before the situation changed, and like I think some of these newer movies are going to be taking into account the fact that Disney Plus is a thing and that they're using it in this way. So like these stars are going to be needing to change the contracts they have, I assume.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely interested in seeing what a modern day feature film contract looks like that it will also be hitting the streaming profile, or streaming platform, excuse me, because that's definitely what this whole thing is about, and the conversation that Disney's avoiding, publicly at least. How much are they really getting in streaming? You know what I mean? And how much is that really worth to them?
Yeah, because they
And I
don't
know
really divulge that info, right?
now they did in this article from the Hollywood Reporter, they did mention that Black Widow gained 60 million from Disney Plus Premier Access, and that doesn't even include the
$60 million?
future. Yeah,
So like that's
and
just people paying $30 to watch it when it premiered.
yeah,
So that's on top of anything else. Okay.
and then you got the people that are going to continue subscriptions from that. You know what I mean? Because that money doesn't stop.
Well, you would have had
So
to, because the way their thing works is you would have had to already be subscribed. I don't
well,
think you
and then
can
some
just pay
people
$30, can you? Is that a
exactly.
thing?
Well, no, that's the thing. No. But that's the thing, right? If you didn't have Disney Plus before and you wanted to go see Black Widow, but you didn't want to go to the theater, you say, okay, you know what? This is my push to get Disney Plus, watch it with the kids, and we subscribe from there. You know.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, definitely people had joined Disney Plus because of this, and any new, especially big ticket movie is gonna have that kind of pull and that kind of lasting effect. So these streaming platforms are a lot more valuable than these big companies are making it out to be, and that's the whole thing here. I think
Yeah,
the
like almost
challenge
like
for
they're
them trying to bring this
hiding
to
how
light.
much money
Mhm.
they get from this stuff because since and I don't know how Hollywood functions on like a real back end level, but like is there some sort of like do they have to divulge how much these movies make, or is that just all PR stuff? Like is there a board that says like, hey, after you make a movie, the earnings get reported by this other company who's like a third party, or it's like it's just bragging, like say, oh, we made $1 billion off this movie. Like, is that how they do it? Because streaming has been so much different. Like they don't generally tell you what's going on there, whether it's good or bad. It seems like.
I think it depends on what kind of a contract the star has with the studio because, well, the actor has with the studio because they can claim a percentage of the box office revenue in some
Hmm.
cases rather than a flat rate for their performance. So, I mean, I do think that in a lot of these cases where where a movie premieres on a streaming service, in the past, depending on how big the star power is involved, they have sort of strategically like made payments to the star or director in question to try to but to try to head off exactly this kind of problem. And I know that caused a big problem for HBO because when Wonder Woman 1984 came out, they found out that they had this was after they had announced that all of their upcoming movies were coming to HBO Max, which I
Mhm.
think nobody was told about ahead of time. No,
Yeah.
none of the actual people who made those movies were told about ahead of time. But they found out that it was discovered that they had paid Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot ahead of time for any lost revenue from any lost box office revenue, and everyone was very upset about that. And I think they started calling those that kind of compensation Wonder Woman money for a while.
Oof,
Oh wow.
that's terrible.
So
Just
it's
want to
not
point
the
out.
first time. Yeah.
No, I just wanted to address the chat real quick. DJ talking about The Rock said, The Rock writes his own contracts that include a clause that if you screw him over, he suplexes you through a table.
It sounds accurate.
I mean, that would
Uh,
solve so many problems, wouldn't it?
right?
It would.
But Directional Joy makes a really good point. Says, to me, it looks like studios are quiet with their streaming profits in a similar way that console makers used to be quiet about their digital sales, to not rub physical retailers the wrong way. That makes a lot of sense. Like, they don't want to kind of brag
Ostracized.
about how much money they're saving by not putting their stuff in theaters, because that's all money that theater owners are losing out on, and that is still a business relationship that I think they value. So that does make a lot of
Yeah.
sense, actually.
And they make
Except
a
on the
lot more
Netflix
money.
front, because Netflix doesn't necessarily care about theater owners, and I think they kind of set the standard in terms of not telling you what the hell their numbers are doing. So I don't
That's
know.
true. They were like, no one knows what we're doing, so we're not going to tell you. Don't worry about it. We're just some new streaming service. It's okay.
Yeah.
Right? Who quietly is like the biggest company in the world right now.
Yeah. But yeah, I
Isn't there
think you.
that new Squid Game
Go ahead.
show that just dropped on Netflix? Like, isn't Korea suing them because of all the traffic that them trying to stream that one show is causing? Has anyone
Are
seen this
they?
story? No.
No.
That's stupid. Yeah,
It is stupid, but it's apparently it's happening.
don't-
Korean ISP is suing Netflix because of all the traffic that people trying to watch Squid Game is causing on their servers.
as if that's something that's their fault. Like what?
Yeah, it sounds like a them problem, but
But if it's a them problem, who do they blame?
themselves. They gonna have to.
I mean,
Sounds
that's,
like a
that's what I'm saying.
publicity
Netflix is a big target. They got that money.
This
You
whole
go
thing
after
is
them.
this whole thing with Scarlett Johansson just makes me upset entirely because it's just like why you don't need extra money. Let's. I'm always pro consumer, right? So like, if you're gonna give somebody a digital copy, or they have to pay for it, or if someone pirates it and it goes somewhere, whatever's more convenient for the consumer. That's what I look at. And the way it comes down to is Scarlett Johansson is complaining about money, or she wanted money that was supposed to be guaranteed for whatever it was in a contract. Okay, cool. Also, the people who created her fucking character are not getting compensated properly. So for you to
That's a good
complain
point.
about something like that is asinine. You're also married to fucking Colin Jost on SNL, who is making good money. What are you complaining about?
I don't think Colin Jost is making ScarJo money though.
He's not making ScarJo money, but the way that he works as a writer and the projects he's inducted, it's not like his bankroll is empty. So
well, I mean, I do think this is not necessarily about the money. It's more like the principle thing, right?
It's
yeah, like she signed a contract, they had a deal, Disney did something else, and like it is a slap in the face. Like whether it's like 50 million or like $100, like when you're that big a star, there's probably a lot of ego that goes with it, and maybe it's like you can't do this to me. Like I'm Scarlett Johansson.
Yes,
like I'll take you to court.
Go. Okay, first and foremost, it's gonna sound like I'm on Disney's jock, but in reality, let's just be real. I don't think they're really more concerned about the money. They're more concerned about Disney Plus being successful as a subscription service because that's what's gonna bring in bank. Because they started with the $6.99, now it's $7.99, and eventually it'll hit Netflix prices. It only is gonna be a matter of time, right? So they already have their thing, and they've already built far enough where they're surpassing other streaming services. They're not Netflix level, but they have surpassed alternatives. So my thing is this: they're more so worried about that. And to be fair, you're gypped out of money. All right, I'm sorry. You're hurt a little bit egotistically, but also use that as leverage. Oh, okay. Well, how about for our next movie, I'm guaranteed so and so because I'm doing an acting role for this. Like if she has such star power, I think it's a game of chess, and she's playing it like it's checkers. It's really.
I hear what you're saying, but I feel like, I mean, how would you feel if you got screwed out of some money? And then someone told you, well, hold on. And then someone told you, hey man, you got it on the next try. You know,
leverage. Sometimes it's not about the immediate.
That doesn't sound like leverage. That sounds like you got screwed.
yeah, that's exactly what that sounds like.
But here's the thing.
You know what? If I were the companies, I'd screw you over again because you didn't.
Yeah, like they're like, oh, this guy's a chump. Look what we did to him last go around.
Hollywood Tower of Terror movie is suddenly stalled in development hell. So
my thing is this.
Oh my gosh.
If she has the alleged star power that she has, then
why do you say alleged? Do you not believe ScarJo is a big movie star?
I don't think she's popping, to be honest.
She has heavy simp star power. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, heavy simp. She's
there's a lot of simps out there.
She's better than Chris Pratt. I'll give you that much because you guys know how much I hate Chris Pratt.
Oh, man, so, but who isn't? I mean,
well, I like Chris Pratt, but
Chris Pratt also has star power. Like,
yeah, but he's
they
also
pay him millions of dollars to be the star of stuff.
Yeah, no, I don't even want to go there. My thing is this: it's just realistically, this is gonna hurt your relation. This could potentially hurt your relationship with said company. This potentially don't growl at me. This is potentially messes up what you're gonna be doing in future projects, as you already have a reputation for being difficult. So why continue to be difficult? It doesn't make sense.
Are you saying that it would be less difficult for her to say? Would it be less difficult for her to say, "Well, give me more money for the next project"?
No,
as leverage. Are you saying that would make her less difficult?
I'm saying.
I'm sorry. I don't like the idea that the female star is coming along and demanding more money, and you're like, she's being difficult.
It's not even that.
To stop that and rely on her husband's money.
No.
I'm just saying you're going a bad direction, Will. I'm trying to head you off here.
Let me clarify, okay? she makes more than Colin, right? I don't really care about their whole thing. My thing is that if you're making enough money to be living where you're literally bankrolling and you could lose $1 million and not have to worry about anything being lost, that's a problem for me to bang on. Oh, I need more millions and more. Okay, no.
I don't think that's
fine.
a fair assumption. You don't know what they're doing with their money. I'm not saying that they're not, rolling the dough. There's a high chance if I have to put money on it, yeah, they probably rolling the dough. But I don't think that's a fair assumption to assume what they're doing with their money or how they should use their money. I think at the end of the day, the fact is principle. If I did a job, you need to compensate me fairly. You know what I mean? I think that's really what it comes down to. And I
think
understand.
that's very one-dimensional though, Blue, because then in reality you already have. I'm not crazy when I say Scarlett Johansson has been known to be difficult within the industry. There's been reports upon it. This isn't on me thing. I don't care. I've never met the woman. But the thing is that if you're trying to do something and you understand that, okay, you have a working relationship, right, where they're giving you so much money and they want you for future projects and they clearly, like, there's something bankroll, you have something good. Why damage that? The same reason why.
I think she was forced to do that. Because I highly doubt that us hearing about it was the first time Disney was hearing about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I highly doubt that. There was conversations before. I know she was asking behind the scenes. She was not trying to blow this up, but it got to the point where she's like, "Yo, they really trying to screw me over."
Of course. Yeah. No.
And so she's like, "You know what?" And the fact that I think if this turns out, if it turns out the way that it should, this will help the industry be more fair going forward.
Yeah, no, I disagree with that. I don't think that's going to work in the.
I don't think this is going to be the only factor. I think this is going to help, though.
Yeah.
I think this is only just the beginning of it. If you look at it, it doesn't matter what ends up happening. Let's talk about. Remember the actor who played Aladdin, who was basically unknown, who did the remake.
Yeah.
Yeah, the live action one you're talking about, right?
Do you also remember the reports about how much he was paid and how much he was struggling going forward?
No. I did not know.
So there was this whole thing. I was on thread on Reddit and then also Twitter, and then the guy kind of slowed down and stopped talking about it in general. But basically, he must have had an Instagram live or something along those lines, and was saying like he pretty much got blackballed from the industry after Aladdin. He got the check that he got, and he wasn't given the expected royalties of what he was trying to get. I don't know the behind closed doors, and I'm not going to pretend I do. Right? That's just kind of that situation. But the thing that happens with this is that what he did, and this is where I give the respect, is that he took a second and really realized, I'm doing something here that could potentially damage my career, because he was virtually unknown.
That's so fear-mongered, man.
Yeah, I wanna talk to that point because
so sad.
Yeah, what you're saying is a real thing. Like the fact that like when you're trying to break into an industry or when you're part of an industry that the stakes are high in terms of you get an opportunity. Like you have to play nice, you have to do politics, stuff like that. Like to you're seeing it as like why would she shake the cage? Or like why would she like
rock the boat?
Yeah, exactly. Why would she rock the boat in terms of like getting on Disney's bad side? But I feel like you're really forgetting the fact that this is Scarlett Johansson. Like, it's not an upcomer. Like, it's not someone who desperately needs Disney on her side to be successful. And like you said yourself, they have tons of money of their own. Like, she'll be fine whether she's working for Disney or not. This is a battle of egos. This is, I'm a movie star. I'm a professional. I've worked really hard to get where I am, to be at this level. And this very large company thinks that it can do something unfair to me. And so she fought back. I don't see anything wrong with that. Like the monetary amounts, I think, are maybe getting too, like people are focusing too much on the fact that it is like $50 million that they're arguing over and she's already made however this much money. Like, sure, it's a drop in the bucket in terms of like their net worth probably. But what they were actually fighting about is the principle and is based on the working relationship. Because if she's going to go forward with Disney, she needs to know that they're not going to screw her over because she's big enough to command that kind of respect. Whereas homeboy from Aladdin probably isn't. And for him to say, all right, well, let me step back and not cause a fuss because I want to keep working. That's actually kind of sad. Like that's kind of the fact that he can be taken advantage of because he's not prolific enough.
He's being abused. That's a bad workplace environment.
I think it's all perception to me because the way I'm looking at it is that Scarlett Johansson is going to be fine regardless of what the result ended up being, whether they said it or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it does come across as fear mongering on the other end. But my logic is that there's other people who went through this situation. There's other stars, and I'm sure they're all egotistical. I don't quite get that section of it because the way I look at it is that you're getting paid to do something you love, and it's really not that fucking serious. And
I
It
take
really sounds
what I
like the
love
overall
very
lack of
seriously.
respect for like the acting
Hard
profession in
disagree.
general.
I take what I love very seriously, bro.
well, that's what I'm saying. If you're getting paid to do what you love, right?
I
And
should
you
be
Then you
Start
shouldn't
getting
complain
paid
about how
properly.
little you get paid to do it, or
No,
you shouldn't
that's
complain
not that.
about
I'm
when people
saying
don't
the
try to pay
same
you to do
reason
it. Like, because that's the same thing.
Because when you go through film, right, and you go through the stuff, and even playing a little bit within the industry, because I've had a chance to work on some sets and whatnot. The thing that I've learned is that the whole process is really more so about it. Like, why do you think you start as a PA making garbage? The idea is that you just get your foot within the door, and then outside of that, then you start building relationships and continue to do what you can.
But who
I'm very
created that
big.
idea?
Well,
Like that's a system that was set up to take advantage of
terrible.
people on the bottom, and like you got to be lucky to get out of that. Like it's not like a
Well,
surefire thing.
I
Like
know
there's tons of
exactly what
PAs who
you're
get
talking
chewed
about.
up and spit out.
I'm
Mhm.
currently like in that position. Me and my company just signed a merger with a bigger media company, and we're doing contracted work. Right? I know exactly what you're talking about, and that the PA abuse is abuse, no
I've never
matter
went
how
through
you
PA
look at it.
abuse, so I can't say.
I mean, but what I'm saying is like the way that how much they pump out of these workers compared to how much they're actually being compensated on a regular basis is unfair, and that's a whole culture within this industry, and that I think that needs to be toppled.
My question is where this is going to a whole different conversation. I was never unfairly
is.
compensated when this occurred. Like I got paid bank for just doing PA work. And then going forward, my idea, at least my background, was more so like I had opportunities to meet people and then network the same way you do within
Yeah,
any industry. And then
for
from
sure.
there, my thing is that like I did the escapist not for money, right? That was just passion. I enjoy what I do in terms of video content creation, right? Now, if for some reason, right, I made a video knowing, okay, cool, this is what I was going to come out with regardless, and that video gets 200,000 views, I'm not expecting anything more than what I already signed up for. I didn't sign a royalty thing, and even if I did, it's still not that big of a deal for me because guess what? It was just something I did for shits and giggles, and I enjoy it. When I'm working and I'm with Ubisoft, right? And I'm not trying to say anything bad or anything, but I'm just like saying, even when I'm doing stuff that's out of my role, I'm learning and grabbing new things. That's just me. I enjoy that sort of challenge. So my thing to kind of lead it all back into it is that there's stars, and I'm sure you've mentioned The Rock. I'm sure there's other people who had streaming things, maybe even the Mortal Kombat things. Lord knows, I don't know if that did well. But my thing is that I'm sure there's people who wanted or was guaranteed so and so, right?
Mhm.
But my logic is that regardless if it's a bigger company or a smaller company, I think I think for the most part of it, I don't take monetary stuff as the biggest thing. I take it more as just like, okay, well this occurred, right? How can I continue and how can I use this to benefit me in my next project? How do I become the less difficult person because of the fact that this occurred? Like for me, if I was making the money in anyone, I wouldn't be stressing too hard. I'd just be like, okay, well maybe this will be a new opportunity elsewhere or a potential opportunity to work and not damage a relationship.
That's some
That's
real
Hey, you want to work
rose-colored
for me, bro? You
glasses.
want to work
look.
Yeah,
for me?
not $40 million worth, Will. I'm sorry. That is not an amount of money that you can just write off, even if you already have that amount of money in the bank. And even if you could, well, should you just for the benefit of being less difficult? Which I'm sorry. Anytime somebody says a woman in the industry is difficult, I always
Oh, it's not.
like,
It's just a
here's my
woman
grain of
thing.
salt. So
Yeah. No, there's not just women. They have stars who have been through it too. I can't think off the top of my head, but there was a whole
well, you just
bunch.
mentioned Mina Masood, so I'm not. Again, I'm not siding wholly with women, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying the whole idea that one should try to smooth feathers rather than taking money that they're rightfully owed. I don't. I mean, you said that even if you had signed a contract, you wouldn't accept additional royalties on views. As like, well, that's very big of you, Will, but you are entitled to that money.
Yeah, like
If you sign, if you have it in writing that you are entitled to money for making more views on a video you did, and it's yes, of course, it is within your right to say, well, I don't need that money, just throw it out. But yeah, that's big of you. That's very open-minded of you, but you are still legally entitled to that money. And Scarlett Johansson is legally entitled to that money. I mean, whether or not you want to make a value judgment about whether she should have it because she already has lots of money, which, again, I don't know anything about her finances, so I'm not going to say that $40 million is something that you can just, piss away just to earn some goodwill. But it does feel like, as much as I appreciate that you are willing to write off money you're legally entitled to, nobody should have to just for the benefit of seeming less difficult.
I just think it's not about the seemingly difficult. I think she's just playing it dumb. I think that it potentially damages.
She got paid $40 million, so I don't see anything dumb in what she did.
And Disney's making another movie with her right now, so
right, yeah, she seemed to get everything she wanted out of that situation. So I can't see what she did wrong in the situation, honestly.
Yeah, it's because you were saying, Will, that it's something that you'd be willing to give up, or that it doesn't matter to you because you enjoy it.
If I'm at that level, if I'm at to clarify, if I'm like her and I'm making that much money, yeah, it's cool, but I just don't think that it's worth.
All right,
that.
so don't think about the money for a moment. I know that is hard because it's freaking millions and millions of dollars. It's amounts of money that most people won't accrue in their lifetime, let alone in a single transaction. If you were paid to do a video for a set amount of money, and you were paid for, and then if it does good, you will be paid this much more. That is, as Rachel was saying, that is your money. You are owed that. It is wrong for the person above you to deny you that when that was the contract you made with them.
Yes,
I mean, amount of money completely aside, it is wrong to do that.
I think what Will's saying, and I'm not saying I agree, but I think what Will's saying is that those are valid points. However, he thinks that was a bad industry move for her. Is that what you're saying?
Trying to come across.
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree, but I think that's what your point is.
No, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying at the most part, when it comes down to it, average people, you and I, who are just working our regular jobs and trying to do everything, that's fine. Like, yes, of course, contractually, do what you got to do, right? And fight if you have to fight because that money means something. However, for those who decide, okay, well, I can literally live without this, right? And I'm not saying that Disney's in the right for doing that, but what I'm saying is that the fact that she didn't use that, or maybe potentially didn't use that, I don't know all this stuff, but as, okay, well, I don't want to damage that relationship is really silly to me. That's all.
I think,
but like, who's doing the damaging? Because I'm really confused how she would be the one who's damaging the relationship. Like, a relationship is two ways, right? It's between Disney and her. If Disney says, hey, this stuff we owe you, we're not going to pay you, and she just goes, well, okay, the relationship didn't get damaged. Disney didn't basically throw the opening salvo and basically tell her that she's not worth what they agreed she was worth. Like, that's part of the relationship too. That's why, if they had the deal, honor the deal. Disney is in the wrong. You agree with that based on Jesse's description.
Of course, yes.
So how could her basically getting what she was owed in any way damage the relationship with Disney? That's what I'm not understanding. Because they started it, in all honesty.
I mean, just to give you the benefit of the doubt, Will, because I know I've been pushing back hard against you, but I will give you the benefit of the doubt, and I will say that I think that this should not have necessarily been as public as it was. I think this is something that definitely could have been handled behind closed doors.
Yeah.
But I think it was just a series of, publicists getting involved, and I have a feeling Disney's PR department got a little bit overzealous, and suddenly they're like, all the sides of Disney's like, we don't have to pay that money. This was not part. This is not. Her contract needed to be amended, something like that. And, this was something that was sort of battled out a little bit in the press when it didn't need to be. And I do think that was something that this is something that probably should have been handled behind closed doors. And I will also say that maybe they tried that and then it didn't work. So they tried shaming Disney in the media, but I don't think that, I find that very unlikely because I don't picture Disney as the sort of company that's going to bow to media pressure ever.
It's really hard. They do. It's funny, as you mentioned that, I was looking at when we were talking about the streaming services, I'm like, what are the top subscribed to streaming services right now? And I looked it up, and Disney Plus is number 3 above Hulu, which they now own.
They also own.
Oh my gosh, yeah. HBO Max is #1 right now, and Netflix is 2. So it's just like
HBO Max is number one.
Apparently,
Not worldwide.
Wait,
that
in
doesn't
like the
make sense.
U.S. Because
this
HBO
is
Max
on,
isn't international, right?
right? I did not look international. I think that's just US.
What
That's
does
so
HBO
weird for me to
Max
think.
have at the moment?
Yeah, that's what
What
I
they
was about to
just
say.
get?
Cartoon Network, Malignant. I guess
Okay.
that's
Did they
coming
get
out
Fast
this
and
month.
Furious when I wasn't looking?
Oh,
yeah,
maybe that.
Fast and Furious
maybe that
is
was
that people coming in.
Is that a
No,
word?
DJ
I'm
says
thinking about what
Titans and the
movies that just
DC
launched.
releases.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League was probably a big
That was a huge
driver
boost.
at some point.
Oh yeah,
But
that
Titans,
did happen.
I don't know if that's getting anybody
stop
signed up for
with the Titans
HBO Max.
It's got that
Don't do
Harley
that.
Quinn show though.
That
Last
was
thing I
funny,
watched-
but it's
Yeah,
it's
that is
also
good.
not like a platform seller for me.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
definitely-
spending the $15.99 just for that. It's a great show, don't get me wrong.
Oh, you're missing out.
Last thing I watched on there was Mortal Kombat, actually.
And what did we learn?
And we learned,
I like
we learned
it.
Hollywood
But we
can
can-
adapt. We learned Hollywood can adapt martial arts movies, but we already knew that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we can move on from the ScarJo debate. That probably went a lot longer than we were intending. So I'll throw it to you guys. Do we want to skip over the Sony acquisition story? It is a pretty small one with the Blue Point Games thing. Or was there anything pressing that anyone wanted to add to that? We can just jump straight into the Konami stuff if you guys want.
Oh, that's what Blue was talking about getting acquired. Congratulations, Blue. I'm so happy.
My Blue Point acquisition. Yeah,
You're the,
yeah,
you're the blue
man.
of Blue Point, right?
Yeah, of course.
You're making that Sony money.
Yeah, I'm a Sony pony now.
Yeah, so make sure you don't ruffle any feathers. Do not ask them for
Yeah,
any points
no,
on the
I'm
back
not
end.
asking them for no kind of money. This is all just
Hey,
on
listen,
good faith.
Work for free.
I love it.
Screw you guys.
You don't need lights on. You get nourishment and light from the work that you enjoy.
And all the likes on the promos. you
Yeah.
know?
All right, so we'll skip over the Sony Blue Point story. That's fine. We'll move right on to the Konami stuff. Some pretty these are rumors, but they're coming from somewhat credible sources that Konami is planning to do. They're going to release a collection of like a Metal Gear Solid trilogy. I want to say like maybe 1, 2, and 3, or no, I'm forgetting what the hell was in the story. But they're doing a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3, I think, right? As well as new iterations in Castlevania, a new Silent Hill. So these are all probably their biggest franchises that are tied to Konami. And Jesse's shaking his head. I need to. Why the disapproval?
Bro, I'm a part of the Silent Hills subreddit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Every other week is posts about the rumors of a new Silent Hill game coming out. They mentioned the blooper thing, the blooper, whatever their name is, blooper something,
Bloober team?
blooper team, yeah.
Bloober team, yeah.
Like that, they was like, oh, they're getting a thing. It's gonna be Silent Hill. It wasn't. Like all this Sony showcase is coming up. I hear rumors of Silent Hill. No, like it is
The abandoned conspiracy?
Yeah, it is. It is nonstop, and it's so annoying. And I do not believe it.
That could be a case of when you're a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. Like if you're in the Silent Hill Reddit, like they want Silent Hill, they're gonna see it everywhere. But like this is coming from, I think, outside of that world. Like people who have talked to actual Konami reps supposedly are saying that this is a thing that's coming soonish. I don't know about soonish, but it's a thing that's coming. They're working on it, they're thinking about it, which is a definite improvement over the fact that Konami for like the last 5-10 years has not wanted to do anything with any of his franchises, right?
Yeah. Except make pachinko machines, yeah.
Right, yeah. They're in the casino business, which is very lucrative. Yeah. So like, why make video games?
Yeah, wasn't that what everyone was pissed off about when they were showing footage of this beautiful remade cutscene of, I think, the boss and Big Boss's confrontation in Metal Gear Solid 3, and it was like, what is this beautiful remake? I was like, it's a pachinko machine. It's from the pachinko port of the game.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very, if they want to get back into game dev, awesome. They got some cool stuff. I'm not against it, but I don't believe it. I'm more likely to think that, okay, a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, and because they just did their Castlevania Advanced Collection, that's out or coming out soon.
I think Yeah, I don't know if that's out yet.
So that might be a really great, indication of they are going to start doing game dev again, which could be cool if they treat their employees well.
Yep.
Right, because that
But-
is some of them that
That's
got.
always there. Please treat your employees well.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm really excited that it could be a thing, but again, wow, have I heard this before for the last freaking 5 years, and it's never true.
Well, I mean, here's one big difference in this, right? Like, Konami does still have internal studios, but it does seem at least some of these projects are planned to be handed out to third-party studios. Like, Konami owns the IP. They'll probably do the publishing, but another dev will actually get a chance to work with these IPs. So to me, that's super exciting. Like, they were rumoring like Kojima with the Silent Hill stuff, but I don't know how true that is, because that would still be Kojima having to work with Konami, and that didn't seem like the best relationship between those two companies. But I don't know, like, I really think, especially a Castlevania, with a lot of what's going on in the game industry right now, like, that franchise could definitely do for a reinvention from some talented studio. Like, do you guys have anyone in mind who could maybe take that on and kind of turn it into something new or cool?
Blue Point.
I mean, it depends. Are we talking like classic Castlevania style, or are we talking?
I'm assuming they're
Lords
trying
of
to go
Shadow
like
style.
AAA. Yeah, I'm thinking
Lords of
like
Shadow
Lords of Shadow,
style.
like more AAA action, big budget deal.
I
Oh,
hope
good
so.
lord. Well, I mean, isn't Koji Igarashi still making Castlevania style games? So if they ever wanted to go classic Castlevania style, I'm sure he would not necessarily object. I don't think he would necessarily. I don't think he would say no. Put it that way.
Didn't he also have beef with Konami?
Of course,
Like, he
everybody
also
has
like doesn't like
Konami,
the.
yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, all these
Doesn't.
ex Konami devs, like, they don't want to work with them anymore. Like, they have bad blood. So like at
But
this point, I
can-
think Konami is like, look, we need to go back to making money from this stuff. And
Yeah.
like, that's all they care about. Like, I think they're going to be looking to forge new relationships and not necessarily going back to whoever they had to kind of screw out of it in the first place. But I don't know. Like, I want to say like the. No, go ahead.
I was saying, educate me. What happened with Konami that they were screwing people over?
Oh, and there's just
You went
lots
New
of
Yorker
talk.
for a second there.
My bad.
No, there's just lots of rumor and information coming out from like ex-employees, people leaving the company, especially when Kojima was leaving the company. Like, that split was not like a nice one. Like, they did jerk stuff. Like, he wasn't able to like attend awards for the game he created and stuff.
They also
like,
took his name off the cover
right.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
of
See,
what was it, Metal Gear Solid 5?
As
Yeah,
I
you
think
can
it was
tell,
5.
I have no affinity to Konami games because I couldn't think of anyone outside of Dance Dance Revolution that I care about. So, like, yeah, that's fine. So,
yeah.
I know Metal Gear Solid has a big fan base, but I've never gotten into it as I've tried to play, and I'm just like, this is really, really boring. That's probably why I can't enjoy Death Stranding.
I will
Which Metal Gear
say,
Solid did you play that you thought was really boring?
Whatever one released on the Xbox One around that time. So I don't know if it was
Phantom Pain?
Was that Phantom Pain then?
Pain might have been Phantom Pain.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
was
I
5.
haven't played the old school one, so I can't really say. I've heard the fourth one was really good. That's a PS3 exclusive or something along those lines, or is it the third one?
Yes.
So I've heard that one's good, but like to tell you the truth, the chances of me to really jump into just the fourth entry of a game is gonna be a really hard reach for me.
Yeah, especially for a franchise like Metal Gear, that's probably going to be rough. But I'm sorry, Rachel, what were you?
oh no, I was just gonna say that Koji Igarashi has said in the past that if he could come back and if he was invited back to do a Castlevania game with Konami, he would do it. Of course, that was around the time that Bloodstained got released, so he was just going through the indie dev glut at the moment. So I can't be sure if it's sometimes hard to read intentions because I have actually met Koji Igarashi, and it's sometimes hard to read what he's saying through a translator, as that could totally just be like, oh man, I'm exhausted. I would totally let Konami handle the rest of this, as opposed to yes, I loved working with Konami and I would do it again if I could. So
Right.
it's hard to tell what the intentions were. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially since now that the Bloodstained stuff has come out and has reviewed fairly well, like, he might be like, all right, well, now this is mine. Like, I own this and it's close enough to Castlevania, so I'll just go forward with this. Like, why bother going back to
Yeah.
that.
Literally everything he liked about it, but it's his own IP and he can do new stuff that he wants.
Yeah.
Here's another dumb
But yeah,
question. For the
Go ahead.
Castlevania show that's on Netflix, does it have like it's Konami that does that, right? No. Or
I
I
mean,
mean,
they own the
Konami
IP.
owns it, yeah, but
Oh, they just
I don't think
licensed
they
it.
have like an in-house production studio or anything. No, they
Oh,
shot
I
that
was
to
just
Netflix, and no, go ahead.
Gotcha. No, I was just curious because sometimes they have people who, within the company that would be consultants or some sort and have some sort of input. I just didn't know if it was one of those things where they were just like, yeah, we'll give it to Netflix. Let Netflix do what they want to do with it.
But that's exactly what I'm getting at in the fact that the people who owned and cared about these franchises that Konami owns are gone. Like Konami just has the rights and they don't care about them. They do whatever they need to do with them to make money. So since they have an interest in shopping these around to actual devs who probably have actual reverence for these franchises, I think it's enough to be excited about. Because like these are good games. They have been in the past and they can be again because like there's still a lot of life in them. Like you can tell from like the Castlevania TV show, which is really good. Like I've not played a Castlevania game like to completion at all, but like I was so interested in that world based on the show that like if they released a new Castlevania game like in the next couple of years, I'm probably gonna get it, especially if it reviews well.
All right, so hear me
So I
out.
think it's a good look.
What if for some reason Konami just was like, Square Enix, do what you can with this? Would that be great? Sounds great to me, to be honest.
Square Enix
mean
did
to
they
develop
not do
games?
one of them?
I don't know. I don't follow Konami.
No, who? I feel like Square Enix did do something similar to. Who made Dante's Inferno? Actually,
Blue's about to say, hold the fuck up. We gotta figure
Dante's-
this out right
I
now.
don't know.
Okay.
Everyone type clackety clank clank.
I don't. I mean, God, I don't remember Dante's Inferno, the game.
It happened.
that was,
Visceral Games.
That was
and-
published by
Okay.
EA.
Yeah, EA.
okay, all right.
God, talk
So
about
that-
a blast from the past.
I don't see any crossovers.
I'm just saying, I like as much
Yeah,
as
no.
I don't understand Square Enix's like Final Fantasies because there's like a million of them, or
Mhm.
like just their releases, their games are quality. So I would take like a thing. I don't know if that's at all anyone else's interest, but if this was a news article and I was like, oh, I might have to check out Castlevania or
You
Metal
mean
Gear Solid.
Castlevania is made by Square Enix?
Well, more so if they just were on the development thing. I don't know how these things work. Just because I work in the
Why do
industry, you think I know stuff? Come on.
Why do you like Square Enix so much? What do
Because
they do for
they
you?
produce. Because Tomb Raider's quality, and they help with Kingdom Hearts, and Kingdom Hearts is quality to me. Don't disrespect Kingdom Hearts.
No,
I will
the worst
not
part is,
stand-
like, I
It's
agree
a
with you,
strange
but
thing to
not
bring into
those
the
examples.
conversation about Konami.
Oh well, I don't
agree
know
with
what
you
other
with Square
examples.
Enix, just not those examples. That's the craziest thing.
What
Like,
examples would work best?
yeah.
Wait, what examples work best? Because I don't know.
Oh, I mean, just based off visuals alone, the latest Avengers game I think is beautiful.
Well,
I was a
don't-
huge.
We like that one. Okay, I was about to go. I could not go through it. It was like cycle. But go ahead.
Oh,
continue.
I mean that's probably pre-patch. I'm assuming
Maybe I don't know when I
that
played
makes
it.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then I was a huge fan of Final Fantasy 14 for a long time. And I still am. I don't play it as much as I used to, but I think it's quality. Art style, gameplay, and we've talked about MMOs before, Jesse. I already know that's not your jam. But I even just seeing how Square Enix interacts with its fan base and how they fix problems expeditiously. I think that's always a good thing. You know what I mean? That always rubs me the right way. So I'd definitely back Square Enix trying to take on a Konami title, especially because, and Will, I'm in your camp here. I never was into any of these franchises before, but I've heard from reputable sources that these are good series. So if there was a up to date remake by Square Enix, I'd trust it. I'd definitely give it a shot.
Nice to know.
And I do think it's worth noting that Konami's profit margins had all dipped during the pandemic, except for its digital entertainment businesses, which is the umbrella under which games are. So I think that's
Beautiful. Yeah.
probably a big factor in it coming back, and that's probably why, Jesse, some of the reports about, now that there are reports coming out, it's like, oh yeah, Konami's making games again. That's probably what lends them a little bit more credence, is that Konami actually has a reason to make games again.
Before, no. But
Yeah.
now that
Now-
it might help
now-
your wallet.
Yeah, well, I mean, I mean, not to not to sound cynical, but what were you expecting?
I mean, exactly that, honestly, is what
Yeah.
I was expecting.
Doing it for the art, please.
Mm-mm.
Wait,
So,
didn't
I mean,
Konami
as-
do the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games, the arcade ones?
Yeah,
they
the
did.
beat 'em ups. Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
shit. Okay, so maybe I do have some affinity for it, just because I have fond memories of that game.
Yeah.
They
do-
did a
do
remake
one
of that
those.
recently, didn't they?
I have
I
no
think
idea.
No, there's a new one coming out soon, like a new 2D Teenage Mutant Turtles game, but it's not Konami. It's just
Okay.
paying reverence to the original ones.
I completely forgot that. I totally remember that and mixed those trailers up with the Nickelodeon game that's coming out. And I was like, yeah, that's for the Nickelodeon game. But no, those are two different things.
No,
You're
because
right,
around the
right.
same time, both those things announced
We're
that
getting
April
launched.
O'Neil would be playable characters. That's why. That's probably
Okay.
why.
That's where the confusion comes in.
All right.
And just for reference now, you can now send this clip directly to Nick. Nick, where's the codes? Because we're waiting.
Yes,
Nickelodeon
we
All
want-
Stars
We
Brawl.
want to see those.
We want Nicktoons All Stars Brawl
Yeah.
codes, please, and thank
We
you.
want it.
expeditiously.
I
Oh,
need to
wow.
know I need to know who all you guys are gonna main.
Oh no,
I
I was
just-
just talking to
Oh,
Nick
man.
Nick Calandria, but whatever, sure, do whatever you gotta do.
I just found out. I think Toph is going to be a playable character.
Yes,
Yes, she looked great.
I'm messing with
Oh.
only Avatar characters. Like,
I
Ditto.
gotta throw Mr. Patrick in there. Like, I just need to be annoying with Patrick. I know he's gonna be a big body and he's gonna look stupid doing it. So when I kill you and I look stupid, it's just gonna be an extra thing. You know what I mean?
Something tells me that's gonna be Casey's Wario.
I can see
Patrick?
that.
Yeah.
no, Patrick is pleasant and delightful. Like Wario is just
Like Wario.
darkness.
Pleasant and delightful.
This is unrelated to everything, but since we're mentioning Wario, I found out yesterday that Wario and Waluigi are not related.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
not
dude.
brothers. No,
That's a shame.
It's
Right?
like two
I
guys.
don't know what their relationship is. It's a mystery.
No, they
Yeah,
just
they're not even-
they're just buds, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, they're not
Maybe.
even business partners or nothing.
they just like Havoc.
They could be. We
They
don't
just
know.
do
They could be
brunch on the
business
weekends.
Yeah, right. They can brunch after they try to kill Mario.
They just have a mutual
mean, what else are they gonna
hatred
do?
for the Mario brothers. I
Yeah.
think
This
that's
is
like
why
their real
I-
only connection.
This is why
I hate the Marios. I hate the
I-
Marios too.
I submit myself to be.
Hire this man to do the like. Why is Chris Pratt in the role again?
Yes. There you go. Right now, that's what I was saying. If I was hired to be Wario, it'd be great because I just used my passion against Chris Pratt, and
Oh my
that'd be
gosh.
that's it.
That would, yeah, that I can see the chemistry now.
Right.
Yeah. With two of the boys.
You
So,
on
but
screen
before we
with
close-
Chris Pratt.
Before we close out the Konami discussion, I did just want to point out that they very recently launched their revamp of the Pro Evolution Soccer series,
Oh,
which is kind of
did
the
they,
only
though?
competition
Football.
to
That is
FIFA.
the best.
It's now
game in the
eFootball.
universe.
It's a free-to-play game, and it is straight up garbage. Apparently, according to the internet, like
My
it has tons of bugs.
assumption-
Like it's, uh-huh.
My unfortunate assumption is that if you put free to play and a sports game, it's gonna be bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fair assumption. That's 1,000%.
It's sad.
But I
I
think
don't
it's such
want
a
that to
good
be the case.
idea. I think it's such a
Yeah,
good
no,
idea.
for sure. But
Good idea if
I've
they had a
never,
budget.
ever seen it go well. Like right now, KO City is the closest thing to that. That's kind of
Free to play
working.
sports game, but that game's not
Chaos
actually
City
free to
with
play. Yeah, it's free to like
Hey.
start.
It's free to you like
Yeah.
level 25. And
Oh,
then
for
that's
right.
real?
Yeah, you
That's
gotta pay
Yeah.
$10.
extra stupid. Okay, well there we go.
I mean,
I didn't even get that far.
It's an extended
Yeah,
time
well,
period
not
where your save carries over. I don't think that's terrible.
After 25 levels of that game, after 10, I'm good. I don't want to go any further. I'm
Yeah, like
done.
if you play up to 25, like at that point, just buy the game.
Well, they
Like if you're
also
into it that much, just buy it at that point.
one of my first reviews for True Achievements was a free to play basketball game that's R2 like a cartoonish style called 3-on-3. I think it's freestyle or something like that.
Yeah. I know
My
exactly what you're talking
my
about.
son has played that game. Yes.
It's a very grindy game, and I think I mentioned this to Casey or Amy before, that like they actually pulled down my review because I said after 5 hours of playing the game, there's nothing for me to really accomplish. Because all you do is grind and unlock a character, and then they do the same thing over and over with a little special ability. I'm like, I'm not going to put 100+ hours into this review. This will be a 5-hour review, and that is it. And they removed it from me. But I do think that game was fun. Aside
Who's
from the
they? You didn't tell me the story.
True Achievements, yeah. I mentioned it
Oh,
somewhere
true.
before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why I was like, alright, gotta go. Peace. Fuck yeah. So
I like that you explained what it was you did in this game and that you didn't like it. Isn't that exactly what playing a sport is? You do kind of the same thing for hundreds of hours.
And the fun thing is, well, here's the thing, right? So when you
Don't-
used to play
don't-
like the old basketball
Real life
games,
grinding for achievements.
Yeah, like that's like if you're playing basketball, how many options do you have? Like I can shoot from here. I can shoot from here. I can stop
I
this
think
person.
this is the difference. This is the difference, right? There's practice
Uh-huh.
and there's playing, right? He wasn't playing to practice. He was playing to play.
why you sound like
If
a
you-
coach? My brother was practicing.
No, but I
Play.
think there's a difference in the mentality. You know what I mean? Because if Will's like, "Yo, I really love this game. I want to get better at it," 100-something hours ain't gonna be nothing to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if he's like, "Oh, I want to play this game because it's fun," and then it just starts to become boring, then that's a different story.
We also have to keep in mind it was an arcade sort of game, so that's like
Yeah.
playing NBA Jam and going off. They're saying 5 hours isn't enough. You got to do 100+ hours. Well, what? Nothing changed. I just wasted time. You're not. And keep in mind, for True Achievements, they didn't pay for these reviews. So I was like, 5 hours of my time is well more than enough. You should.
Are you
But
gonna
I-
get that money back?
But I
It was
thought
a
you
free-to-play
were
game,
doing
right?
it for the love of the craft,
Yeah.
Will.
Like,
Yeah, I get it.
Are
That was
you-
a 5-hour thing. That was a 1,000-word essay, and then they took it off, and I was like, all right, well, fuck you guys. At least keep it up. Like I didn't get anything for it.
dude,
but
I think
like,
you're being difficult right now. You're ruffling your
Yeah, you're being real
relationship.
difficult. You're kind of you need to smooth
We're
over this
gonna get him off
relationship.
the podcast.
You need to smooth it out.
Come back. For me, please.
you guys win. Okay,
just had to.
maybe
I had to.
maybe I just don't like Scarlett Johansson. Maybe
That might be it, and that's fine. They're actors that I don't like for any real reason.
Yeah,
as
I
well.
mean,
Just
Like
had a
Owen Wilson,
revelation
for
right then and
example.
But I respect her right to do what you gotta do.
there. Not if you're playing that 3-on-3 freestyle. So
But okay, I think that wraps things up. Does anyone else
Hey,
have
Rachel
anything
has-
to add on the Konami stuff?
I was just gonna say the eFootball
Mm-hmm.
thing. I mean, I don't think it had anything to do with the game being free to play. I think it just had to do with the fact the game was incredibly poorly made. So I think that is the crux of the. If you're using that as sort of a like, here's Konami getting back into video games. The video games Konami makes. It's like,
Right,
well,
yeah.
you're making a free to play game, and this is what you're offering. You know, granted, I'm not paying for it, but at the same time, it's still, just a
It's still bad.
just a
And it's
terrible,
like, what do
terrible
you?
product.
you would keep your fingers crossed that this would just randomly like we eat our like words in like 6 months is just like really polished, but that's not gonna happen.
I mean, and that's the thing. I think that free to play probably shouldn't, but it implies low budget.
Or rather, maybe it implies that Konami isn't taking it serious. Like they never do. Like they said, hey, we want. Like they're looking at like a rubric that says we need a free to play sports game by this time, and then they said do
It's a
that,
Mad Lib.
and then right, and it's like okay, we're gonna do that, but like wait, can we have a little more time? Can we have a little more money? They're like, no, do the thing we told you to do, and then you get
Low
this.
budget. There you go.
Yeah, and so it's like
Yeah.
that's
When you-
what in my heart I feel like has happened. So like the idea that they're gonna keep trying to make this better, I feel like they'll be like, hey, this was a failure. You guys messed it up. So now it's done.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I was gonna say, to be fair, visually, when you're playing a FIFA game, is it like top-down view anyway? So who cares? Like I probably
not
wouldn't care.
top-down
I'd
view.
laugh at it. Like,
It's
well,
like
it's,
it's like
this weird
3/4
three-quarter side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well,
It's like
something-
Diablo, right? Like
yeah, but you're not,
Yes. FIFA
you're not
is
like
Diablo.
really focused
Yes.
on Ronaldo Christian's face or whatever. Christian Ronaldo, I don't know his name. You just like you're not focused on his face. You're just looking at him. From
You've
a
got
weird
like
angle.
You're
you've got
not.
billions of football fans around the world mad at you right now. Bob.
Yeah,
Just letting you
like-
know.
Yeah, where's
I'm
our
not
first
that- this, like,
person
character
soccer
model
games,
fan.
by the way? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Maybe I just don't care. Maybe when I just play 2K, I'm like, I really don't care how this looks. I want the ball to go in the hoop and I have fun. That's all.
Yeah, I'm the exact opposite. I want my dude to look like me and just dunk on some people, like even once, so I can get a clip and be like, "I'm amazing." You know what I mean?
All right, so that I believe does it for today's show. Thank you guys so much for coming through. Blue, why don't you let these folks know what you'll be up to this week?
Oh man, what's going on, everybody? My name is Blue Bones, BLUB0NES. This week I'm gonna be doing over Wednesdays again, where I play Overwatch on Wednesday nights, and we try to get those dubs. We had a losing streak last week, and it was a little disheartening, but we got one of my friends to come in and help us out because we had 5 out of 6, and so we got the 6th person under control. Got
Sometimes
2 wins
all it
at the
takes.
end. Yeah, that's exactly what it took, and we all, our spirits lifted and we ended on a high note, so that was really dope. And then Free for All Friday is probably coming back next Friday as well. I'm also going to be doing some spotty individual streams on whatever I'm playing when I get the chance. I'm doing some. There's this game called Freebird. I don't know if you guys know about it.
What's the skateboarding one?
Yes, bro, it's like the
Yeah.
ultimate
Well, no,
stoner
that's-
game, but
Skatebird?
Skatebird. What did I say? I said Freebird.
You said
Right?
Freebird.
That's
That's like
something
a
different.
So tired.
We
that's
thought
a
you were
song,
angry.
right?
That is so
Freebird!
funny that Will knew exactly what I was talking about, even though I was completely wrong. Skatebird. Thank you guys so much. I love that game, from the music to the models to the just the mechanics. I jumped into it so quick, and I want to share it with everybody. So that's probably going to be coming up this week as well.
Cool. So how about you, Rachel? What are you doing this week that you want folks to check out?
Well, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it on stream. I don't want to make a big deal out of it, but I just started a new job in the industry, and
Oh.
I am so
Congrats.
unfortunately I will not. I've since published my last article for The Escapist, but if you want to check it out, it's pretty good. It's about Bayonetta 3, so I'm wearing my Umbran watch in solidarity.
Hey.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yes, and I'm holding on to it because I'm not going to let go of it until Bayonetta 3 comes out. But anyway, so yeah, I'm now a staff writer for GamesBeat, and you can check out my stuff at the Twitter link above. And I am working on a review. I technically can't disclose what the review is for another 5 minutes. That's when the embargo. That's literally when the embargo on when I can let you know what I'm doing lives.
We're just going to
That's
wait in the
hilarious.
chat for you to text it out.
But in the meantime, I am going to be playing Bayonetta, and I'm going to try to do it on stream again because I played Bayonetta once on stream, and I am still hyped about the new game. So I need to prepare, and you might as well watch me do it. So
Nice.
you can find all that on my Twitter. So if you want to know what I'm up to, just follow my Twitter.
Sweet. Jesse, how about you? What are you doing this week?
Sweet. Also, congratulations, Rachel.
Thank you.
That's freaking
Yeah,
awesome.
congrats, for real.
Also, if we stall long enough, does that mean at the end of the stream
That's
you can
exactly
tell
what I
us?
was gonna
Tell us
say.
what the-
Jesse, tell us
Yes.
everything about your latest release for Behind Schedule.
All my stuff, Twitter, Rexicon Jesse. I'll be doing some streams tomorrow morning on twitch.tv/Rexicon Jesse. On Tuesday morning is the Smash reveal. So what I'm going to be doing is streaming with some people. Casey will hopefully be there. Blue, I know you also play Smash. If you want to and are able, you are welcome to join. My friend Blight will be there too.
Yeah,
We're
man.
going to be on stream watching the Nintendo release, tell us what the last Smash character is, and then
The
play Silly
Sakurai
Rules
presents.
Smash. Yeah. And then
That
we're going to
sounds
play some
dope.
Smash. And if anybody who wants to join, you are welcome to play Smash with us. Blue, if you want to be on the stream too, you can.
Hey,
Will,
man, just
Rachel,
shoot me the time.
if either of you as well. I don't know if you really enjoy Smash or if you're available during that time because it's like in the morning on a
It's
Tuesday.
pretty early on a Tuesday.
Only
Yeah.
if I can play Bayonetta. Just saying.
Of
yeah.
course.
I'm
Like
pretty
my-
sure you're allowed to play Bayonetta.
Yeah.
Well, I don't
also
know.
one
There
of my
was a
favorite
time when that wasn't, that wasn't so good to play Bayonetta. But
Oh my gosh. No.
Oh, when she was super broken? Okay, yeah, I know what you mean.
yes,
He was broken? Oh, no.
Look, I don't know enough about the meta to even know who to ban. I just like setting up silly rules and like smashing people and then realizing I'm happy I didn't come in last. That's all I like out of and shouting. That's all I love out of Smash. So we'll be doing that Tuesday. And then I'll be playing some spooky games on my channel throughout the month. I know I'm going to stream Dino Crisis at some point because I haven't beaten it. And probably Phasmophobia, hopefully some other games too. So you can check all that out over on my Twitch. And also,
Nice.
I have a probably a new video coming out today of 3 minutes review on Escapist and behind schedule at some point, but I don't know when. Hopefully soon.
So just keep an eye out.
Yeah. That's so much
thank you
stuff.
so
I'm done
much.
talking now.
So how about you, Will? What do you got coming up that you want to share with the
Before
class?
I continue, because I do want to ask this question. Blue, are your bones actually blue?
You know what? That's something I can't reveal on stream.
Alright,
You guys got to sub to my channel to find out. You know what I mean?
Tier 1 sub.
Don't your teeth count as bones?
It's true.
Yeah, that's not all of my bones.
They're covered with enamel though, so that doesn't. So you can't see what color they are.
Fair
Exactly.
enough. Fair.
Thank
I
you.
thought he had
Reach.
X-rays just already. Okay, I don't know how this works. Anyway,
I mean, they might. You got to sub first.
Congrats, Rachel, on the new job. Very
You got
exciting.
you got to
Thank
sub
you.
to his OnlyFans to see. To see
Oh, that's the wrong blue bone, buddy. I'm not looking at that one. No.
You changed the S into a D, and that's the
No,
OnlyFans,
whoa,
you know what I mean?
Oh my God, this is taking a turn. I'm gonna fake promo me as my camera doesn't decide to focus on me. So yes, the
Yeah, go ahead,
Twitter
Will.
somewhere there. Is it up? Is it down? I don't know. I'm
Down.
Down.
It's down for you.
It's below
right
you.
over there.
Yes.
Follow that, and then maybe go on Twitch and follow that, because now I bought the little PlayStation 5 camera. Now I can actually. I look orange as all hell, and it was cheap. I mean, it wasn't cheap. It feels cheap in terms of quality, but I still on my lunch streams, I get into a little Fortnite problems. I get into a little Rocket League. I still am waiting for KC to play Rocket League with me, because I
My
play
bad.
ranked.
I be busy.
You be playing Hot
But I
Wheels,
definitely
shit,
wanna-
man.
That was for work, but also it was awesome.
see, so you enjoyed it, but there's that. Definitely you should follow, because a little game called Far Cry 6 releases Thursday, and I'm going to be streaming from where I am already, which is somewhere. I don't know if I'm at the end. I'm doing all the side missions right now. Leave me alone. Point being is that you should check that out. If not for me, then just for Chorizo, because that's a little cute puppy, and everyone needs a little puppy in their life.
Oh,
Chorizo?
I didn't
Yeah,
know that your
chorizo.
dog's
That's
name
what
was
they- that's what
chorizo,
they-
and
No,
I was
no,
like,
no,
yo,
no.
I'm still doing it for
There's that.
food.
I like chicharron more. Chicharron's more.
Chicharron
I'll still
is
do
a
it for
scary
food. I was
looking
like,
rooster.
I'm down for chorizo. You know what I
No,
mean?
no, no. What, you think the dog I have here is named Chorizo?
Oh, I don't know. Okay, so then what do you?
No,
think?
no, there's
the
an
Far Cry
in-game dog.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
that-
even worse. But okay.
He's a
Sorry.
dog.
I'll
So
leave it.
yeah, follow with that, and yeah, hopefully I'm gonna probably stay the whole stream and see if I can find my name somewhere in the credits, because that sounds like a headache for me to do. But I wanna take a picture and put it on a plaque and be like, this is my IMDb. Check your boy. As if
Yeah,
that's
do
what-
that. Spend the time.
And now that I've delayed enough time, Rachel,
Right,
what's
yeah,
the
Rachel,
game?
what's the game you want to reveal? We're past the mark.
Drum roll. Far Cry 6.
Ooh,
Oh,
yeah.
I
there
didn't
she
want to
go.
say as well, because I didn't want to make it awkward for Will. But yes, I am reviewing Far Cry 6 this week. I am playing it now.
If you gave it a 0 out of 10, it's not my fault. I didn't go through all that process. I'm just. Can I at least get 1 point because my name's somewhere there? No? Okay.
No, that's not how this
Yeah.
works, Will.
God damn it. All right.
One
go
minute
ahead.
you're like, I didn't work enough on the game for me to be ashamed of it, and the next minute you're like, can I get a point for working on it? I'm like, which way do you want it, Will?
Like,
How much of
I-
your blood and sweat is in this game, man?
Just a lot of headaches and a lot of fires being put out. It ain't that much.
okay. Yeah, you can find me at Sigma Gears 9. That's also below me. You're on my channel right now, I assume, is how you're watching this if you're listening to me.
Unsubscribe.
But make sure to also subscribe to the Open Party channel, because I'll be there this afternoon playing Smash at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. I don't know, Blue, are you going to be making this one today?
Unfortunately, not. No,
Okay,
I
so
have
Blue
an
won't be on
equipment
that
test today.
today. No worries. I think Jeff will be back by then as well. So we'll be on there playing Smash, the competitive kind. So the kind that Jesse is kind of not
Me
not
and Jessica
into
are just gonna
good
stream
enough.
the regular ones.
yet. Not into
Screw the
yet.
competitive.
I appreciate that you think at some point maybe I would be.
Look, if Nick okays this video series, like this stream series, I think I can get you to where you actually like playing competitive Smash. But that's something in the future. What's actually coming up sooner than that is me and Marty playing through Dead Space, or rather, I'm playing through Dead Space because I've never played any of those games before, and Marty, who has played all of them, will be co-piloting. So that should be fun. I should have new reviews coming out at some point this week as well for. I don't know if I can say, so I won't.
Yeah.
But
Keep your mouth.
Thanks.
yeah, that should be coming out soon. And on top of that, yeah, just check out the stuff that I've done so far this week. That Hot Wheels review was a lot of fun. Like, I really like that game. So check out the review for it and play it. I'll probably buy it, honestly, because my son saw me playing it and was like, hey, can I get this game? I was like, you know what? We can get this game. But thanks everyone in the chat for coming through. Really appreciate it. Thanks to all my co-hosts today. It was a fun time, fun conversation. We'll see you next week. Bye.
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 Bye.